to Simply Home and Harvest, and Merry Christmas to you. This is probably going to be the final video before Christmas that I'll be able to get out to you. So I just want to take the opportunity to wish you a very Merry Christmas from our family to yours. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and enjoy some time with your friends and family. Today I am showing you 3 very easy make-ahead breakfast ideas for you, maybe for Christmas morning. You could use this obviously any time of the year, but I know Christmas morning is especially nice to have something that you could put together either Christmas Eve or even Christmas Eve. You could put it together and then have it in the fridge ready to go when you need it on Christmas morning. So I'm going to show you 3 recipes. One that is a go-to for us is the breakfast casserole, which you have already seen in a previous video. So go back and look for that. If I forget to link it below, look for the breakfast. I think we call it the breakfast bake. Or it might just say breakfast casserole, but it was probably a couple videos back. So make sure to find that one if you're looking for a breakfast casserole. But today I'm going to show you some make-ahead sausage balls. Sausage balls are so easy and simple that I probably don't even have to show you that one, but it's something that we do every Christmas morning, so I thought I would include it. So we're going to make ahead some sausage balls. I'm going to show you how to make a delicious, easy, basic breakfast quiche. And that's something that you could prepare. You could even cook that and have it completely done the day before. Stick it in your fridge and then just pull it out and heat it up for Christmas morning. And then the third one is some cinnamon rolls, and that's again another bake ahead. You can even bake these ahead and freeze them, which is what I have done, or you could bake them ahead, stick them in the fridge and pull them out and have everybody just heat up a plate. It's okay, they can heat up a plate. It does not have to be piping hot on Christmas morning, because you need to be in there with your family and not in the kitchen making everybody breakfast. So there's 3 easy things that I'm going to show you today. So first off, we're going to start with the breakfast quiche. Before we get started with the breakfast ideas, since I was already standing in the bedroom, I thought I would give you a little look around and just show you our bedroom tree. I kept it very simple. This is a tree that's already pre-lit. I got it at Aldi last year. And it's so cute, simple, comes on a timer. But this year I decided to add a few ornaments. I kept it on the black and white, mostly neutral colors, to match back to our bedroom, which is that black and white. And we've got pops of red and green in here for Christmas. But here's a look at just some of the decor in this room. I had to go to this room to find a quiet spot. The kids had some friends over, and so we're not normally in the bedroom, but I thought I would just show you a quick glimpse. Guys, keeping in the spirit of making some Christmas breakfast ideas for you today, I am going to make this very simple breakfast quiche for dinner. Now, I'm going to show you kind of like the foundation for it. The recipe that I have actually doesn't call for any bacon or spinach or anything like that. But you could add any of those things to this. In fact, if I had some spinach that was fresh, I had some I had to toss earlier, sadly, but if I had some fresh spinach, I would add that to this because it would make it even better. So I'm gonna show you this quiche. It uses, and I cannot ever pronounce this correctly, I don't think, Gruyere cheese. This is actually a cheddar and Gruyere blend. I am maybe butchering that word. If I am so sorry, but y'all see the spelling of it there. So take a minute, if you wanna screenshot that, you can. I did pick this up from Aldi, and they actually had a couple of different kinds, and I thought, well, I'll get the one with the cheddar in it just so I know that, you know, our family likes cheddar, and that way if this Gruyere cheese is not our favorite cheese, we'll have some cheddar in there. So I will say that I've made this before, and that's the kind of cheese that I used before, and we loved it. So I'm confident that everybody's gonna love it tonight. You don't need much. You need a pie crust and a block of cheese, and some seasoning, some salt and pepper, some half and half. I don't have half and half, but I do have some heavy whipping cream. And then you only need about 4 eggs. I think that's right, 4 eggs. Yes, this only calls for 4 eggs. So you're not using a lot of eggs either. And that is nice, especially when eggs are getting a little bit more expensive and chickens aren't laying as much in the winter. So that's a good recipe to have where you don't use a lot of eggs. All right, I'm gonna show you what I'm doing down here, and I'll kind of talk my way through it, or voiceover something, but definitely give this one a try. We've got our 9-inch pie plate here, and then I've got just a leftover pie crust. I already had it in the fridge, so we're gonna use this, and you only need 1 pie crust. So you could save, if you get a box, they normally come with 2 pie crusts, you can save that, and you would have it for a second one of these or for an actual pie. That would be nice too. All right, I'm just gonna, I know you can't see that. I'll get it in here, and then I'm not gonna do anything fancy with this tonight. You know, if you wanted to make like a little fluted edge, you could. I'm just gonna go with the edge that it developed on its own there. I'm not gonna do anything fancy. And because this is so cold, it's kind of cracking a little bit. So there's our pie crust. And now we're gonna get our filling made. All right, hopefully y'all can see me here. I went ahead and shredded all of that cheese, and that is 8 ounces of grilled cheese. Now we're gonna use 4 of our eggs. We get to use some farm fresh eggs. I'm starting to consider that a luxury now since the laying has subsided. But I'm also thankful I can go to the grocery store and get eggs too. So I try not to complain too much about it. All right, there are our 4 eggs. All right, wash my hands. Now we're gonna whisk these really well. And then we're gonna add in 3/4 of a cup. Our recipe calls for half and half. I've got heavy cream, so that's what I'm using, so it might be a little bit thicker. All right, next we're gonna add our seasonings, and I did forget that this also calls for nutmeg, and I think that just brings out the flavor of the cheese even more. So we're gonna go in with, it's just 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, so I'm just going to, that was way more than 1/8. But that might have been a little over 1/8, that's okay. It'll all be all right. All right, now we're gonna add in some garlic powder. I'm just gonna do a dash of that. I'm gonna do minced onion. Now, if you wanted to, you could have sauteed some onion. You know, if your family likes that, you know the deal here. Putting that minced onion in there is already probably pushing it a little bit, but I think it'll be all right. All right, I'm gonna add some garlic and herb seasoning. Just a little bit of that. And then we're gonna hit this with a little bit of our Himalayan pink salt and some pepper. You just do this to taste. Have this in the oven to go with it. Some smoked sausage, potatoes that I drizzled some avocado oil on, added some seasonings. It smells amazing. That'll be a good compliment. We'll let that cool over there while we continue. Now, we need to turn our oven down to 375. All right. Now we're just going to add our cheese right into our egg mixture here. I think I'm gonna reserve some to add on top. It doesn't say to do that, but hey, that's what we're gonna do. Also doesn't mention adding any bacon, but we're gonna do that too. I'm just using the real bacon bits here. And I'm just gonna do a little bit because we don't need a lot tonight. We've already got the smoked sausage over there, but this will just add some flavor to it. That's just a little bit there. All right, we're just gonna get this poured right into our pie dish here, or pie crust here. If you had some parsley or something, you could like garnish it on top with that. But this, I think, would be great to go ahead and you can make this up on Christmas Eve if you want to serve this Christmas morning. And then it would already be made and you could keep it in the fridge overnight, just pull it out and you could heat up a piece. Or you could probably make it to this point. I don't see why not. Wrap it up really good the day before, put it in your fridge overnight, and then in the morning, just pop it in the oven. So it says to cook for cook at 375 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes or until a knife comes out clean. So we're gonna pop it in the oven and we will come back when it's all done. Christmas in this house without sausage balls. My family asks for weeks ahead of Christmas, are you still making sausage balls on Christmas morning? So yes, the answer is yes, always yes. It's something that's so easy. Like I said, make ahead, freeze them, pull them out, put them in the fridge, and then just heat them up the next day. That's what we're gonna do. And so here are our easy sausage balls. Now to get started on these famous sausage balls. And these are gonna be extra yummy because we get to use fresh sausage that we just got from our neighbor. That's one thing I love about this time of year is all the fresh sausage that's coming in our area. So we're going to use 1 pound of sausage, and you can use any type of breakfast sausage that you like. If you like a hot sausage, you could do that. This has a little bit of a kick to it. But if you'd rather just keep it mild, then do the mild, the regular sausage, whatever you prefer. So we're going to need 1 pound of that, and then also 8 ounces of cheese. Now I like to use extra sharp cheddar cheese, and we will get that shredded. I'm also putting in there 2 cups of baking mix. So what I'm gonna do first is mix together the baking mix and the sausage, get that mixed together. And while that's going, I'll get the cheese shredded, and then all you do is add an egg. I'm just gonna crack an egg in there, and then we will be good to go. Now you have 2 options. When everything is already mixed together, you could just wrap that up and put it in the refrigerator, keep it in there for a couple of days until you're ready to make your actual sausage balls. But if you want to go ahead and proceed, then I just like to use, I've got like a little cookie scoop. It's a 1 teaspoon cookie scoop. And I like to get them on the sheet first using that. And then I'll go back and just roll them with my hands to form them into balls. It's a very simple process. So I'm just gonna speed this up and we'll come back in just a second. Now these are gonna go into a preheated 350-degree oven for 10 minutes. Once your 10 minutes is up, you're just gonna remove your pan of sausage balls and turn them over and then bake them an additional 10 minutes. All right, sausage balls are ready, and I told Tim that he gets to sample one. We have to save to both of them. We have to save them for Christmas Day.
It's hard to make them last that long.
No.
Because these are the bomb.
Are they good?
The key, and Jennifer is very good at this, is the sausage to bread ratio has to be correct. It has to be like a 60% sausage and 40% bread. Most people, to save money, do too much bread, and it ends up becoming a bread ball with a hint of sausage.
See, I think the key is the kind of sausage you make, and I add an egg to ours, and a lot of people don't add the egg. I think that makes them like a little bit crispier. He ate mine too. I brought 2, one for you, one for me.
Oh.
Oh, well, he deserves it. He took me to lunch today, And so I will gladly give you mine.
Very good. 10 out of 10.
Awesome. Thank you.
A little bit of mustard.
Oh yeah, mustard. That's really good.
And a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm. Now you're talking. All right, so what I'm gonna do is get these in the freezer and just do like a flash freeze on them, just so that when I put them in a freezer bag, they will be separate. Instead of like, if I put them in the freezer bag right now and just froze them, they would like clump together. That'll just keep the clumping together from happening. So into the freezer they go for probably a couple of hours. All right, so here we are. I've got them all ready to store in the freezer in our freezer gallon size bag. And what I do is on Christmas Eve, I will just pull these out, put them in the refrigerator, and then we will just take them from there and heat them up in the microwave on Christmas morning. And typically we keep the sausage balls in the refrigerator. I make them the day before. So that will work out just fine. But if you don't want to go this route, if you don't want to freeze and keep yours in the fridge, you can always probably roll them out and then pop them in your refrigerator. You do that the day before and then bake them 350, 10 minutes, flip them over, 10 minutes more, and you can enjoy them fresh, hot from the oven on Christmas morning. All right, last but not least, I'm gonna show you our cinnamon rolls. Now you can make these plain. These happen to be apple butter cinnamon rolls. I just added a little apple butter with the regular butter, and I'll probably explain that to you in the video showing you this. You do not have to make your own dough. I was making bread anyway, so I just used the dough from that. But you could totally buy some already made dough at the grocery store. You could buy like the sheets and just roll your own dough out, or you can just put together a simple yeast roll dough. And if you need a recipe for that, also you can go back and look up Simply Home and Harvest bread, like homemade bread, but make sure you look up the yeast bread, and I will show you how to make that dough. And then that dough is good for cinnamon rolls and dinner rolls and loaves of bread. So be sure to refer back to that. If I forget to link it below, and I might, because there's a lot going on right now. All right, let's look at these cinnamon rolls. All right, guys, this is an extremely quick look at me putting the yeast bread dough together. Like I said, go back, refer to the homemade bread recipe. I didn't want to take all the time to do that in this video because I have spent a lot of time in the past making the homemade bread and showing you that process. So refer back to the homemade bread video if you would like step-by-step instructions on how to make your own bread dough for yeast rolls, for cinnamon rolls, and for homemade bread. This one is just the best in my opinion. So easy, and it comes together very quickly. I'll be sure to link this recipe down below for you. I have a dedicated video where I only make the cinnamon rolls. I'll try to link that down here as well. But what I'm doing is I just have my silicone baking mat here, and I'm gonna speed up everything because I don't want this video to be super long for you. And once you get the hang of it, it's just really, not a very hard process. But what you want to do is just add a little bit of oil to your baking mat, and then you just flatten your dough out. You can roll it with a rolling pin if you'd like. You can use your hands. I just get it into like a rectangular shape, and then I use softened butter, and that's key because if you use cold butter, it's going to be hard to spread. So get your butter softened, and then you just want to cover this. Now, the key with cinnamon rolls is you're doing everything with a very generous amount. This is not the recipe that you save calories on. Cinnamon rolls are just going to be high in fat and delicious. So if you don't like things like that, probably skip out on this recipe. But once you get your butter covering all of your dough, I am adding in apple butter. Now, I have heard people say that they can use pumpkin. I think I may have done that a time or two, like a canned pumpkin, and you could spread that over as well. Some people don't use butter at all. They just use the canned pumpkin or just use the apple butter. So totally your preference. I just thought I would do a little bit of both. As you can see, I did not have a lot of apple butter left in that jar. So I'm just adding a touch of apple butter. But once I get my apple butter all spread out on there evenly, then I am going to add in some sugar, some white sugar. And I don't really measure. I just sprinkle a little bit over the whole dough. And then the same with the cinnamon. I don't measure. I just give it a good dose of cinnamon, and then your brown sugar, a generous amount. You want it completely covered in cinnamon and brown sugar because these are cinnamon rolls. So you want to be able to taste that cinnamon. All right, once you get all of this spread over the top evenly, then here's the tricky part, is rolling it up. Now this takes a little bit of time, but you just want to make sure that seam is tucked under. And then I like to cut my dough in half. That just makes it a little bit easier to work with. Some people use a knife or a bakery cut slicer, but I use dental floss. I found that works pretty well. My dough had gotten really soft, and so you can see that it was kind of falling apart. Typically, I would bake these together in a pan where they touch and rise up, but I was trying something different on this day. I wanted to see if the cinnamon rolls would cook a little bit better. Sometimes they tend to be on the doughy side when you bake them together, and when you're already putting the icing on, I just didn't want it to be too gooey. So I decided I would maybe just get them close but not touching and put them in the oven. So you're going to bake these in your oven at 375 degrees. Make sure it's preheated, and you want to bake these for about 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, next step is to make our icing. Now I'm making a buttercream icing today that I'm totally experimenting with, and this is because my daughter does not particularly like the cream cheese icing. However, I think either one of these is great with the cinnamon rolls, but this is just a little bit of butter that I let soften, some powdered sugar, some heavy whipping cream, and some vanilla. And I'm just mixing that until I get it to this consistency that I like. So just a little bit of trial and error there. If you like the cream cheese icing, I will add that in the description box below for you. So you see that our cinnamon rolls are out, and they look a little flat. So I need to try to transfer them into our prepared pans. Now I'm putting them in these pans because I'm going to gift some of these to our neighbors. And then once I get these in the pan, I will cover them with the icing. Now, I'm not sure if I told you this earlier in the video, but I have actually made these in these pans before. Bake them in the pan and then given them as gifts like this. And I think that's a little bit easier for the recipient just because they can warm them right back up in the pan. So that's what I'm trying to do, just transfer them back. Even though I didn't bake them in this pan, I'm transferring them to it so that they can be easily warmed up. But you can bake them in the pan, then add your icing, and then they're ready to go. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Just wanted to put something together for you so you could have some ideas just in case you needed them. But like I said, I'm going to take a break, enjoy some time with my family, and enjoying Christmas. I hope that you are doing the same. I hope that you have put your feet up by now and are enjoying just the Christmas tree and something good and warm and cozy, and that your meals are already planned out and that your gifts are already wrapped and that you're just able to enjoy the holiday. But if you happen to still be shopping and doing all the things, I pray that you will still find rest and enjoyment this holiday season. Don't work too hard. I have to tell myself that too. All right, friends. Well, until next time, remember to live simply, use what you have, enjoy the moments you've been given, and I will see you all back in the next one.